are things that he's discovering. And if you think, oh, I'm just maybe harassing him for nothing, look at how many policy reversals he's had. Even something as simple as having a competent attorney general who knows the meaning of justice, who knows how to use the power of pardon, power of prerogative of mercy, the criteria to draw, how to make it transparent, how to have interaction with the victims, how to look at the social impact, the psychological impact, the moral hazard of releasing criminals that have not shown any capacity for repentance and things like that. It just went that way. If you look at the so-called 15% tariff, no calculation behind it, no nothing. Just because you know somebody and that policy will favor that one person or one group. Just announce, oh, I put 15% more on people who already have debt with inflation. You want your inflation level to come down. As a result, you are doing rebasing instead of actually dealing with
Good day, everybody. Yes, over 8 billion people on the planet, 7 continents, Antarctica, Australia, Africa, Europe, North, South America. 7 billion in the past, now 8.1 billion. In another 10 years, well, maybe it will be 10 billion. But like I always tell you, you don't just overlook the country with the largest population of Black people on the planet. That's Nigeria. I've told you in the past, 1 out of every 4 sub-Saharan African is a Nigerian. 1 out of every 6 Black person on the planet is Nigeria. Nigeria is always in the news. Recently you heard the president of the United States, talking to the leadership of Nigeria that they have to stop the killing of Christians in Nigeria, that there's been a genocide. Senator Ted Cruz, a lot of senators, congressmen in America. Nigeria is a focal point in the world. Well, can we deny the fact that those things exist? Well, there are international statistics that show us that over 7,000 Christians have been killed just this year alone. In Yelwata, the village, over 200 were killed just a month or 2 ago. So these things are there. But we've had guests tell us that it's failure of leadership, that Nigeria is a country that elect the wrong people, the incompetent people, the charlatans. That's what so many of my guests have said. But today I'm going to bring to you somebody that should know, somebody that has aspired to be president, someone that thinks that if he is president, he has solution to, if not all, most of our problems. He believes that you don't have to hope, you have to plan, which makes a lot of sense to me because it's all about strategy. Rome was not built in a day, yes, but there's a plan for, where Rome will be built. There was a plan for America. America had a rolling plan. After the Second World War, there was a Marshall Plan for Europe. Today, we see the result. So today, we have Prince Wole Adebayo, the former presidential candidate of the SDP, during the 2023 election. Prince Adebayo, welcome to State of the Nation on the Atlanta Discuss channel.
Thank you very much, and God bless you, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you so much. God bless you. I've listened to a lot of things you have said, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you today. And there's a lot going on in Nigeria. The chances are that if you had won the last election, you'll be in Aso Rock today, be in charge of Nigeria. So you're in a good position. You are not the president, but you could have won. So I want to ask you questions about what is happening overall in Nigeria and what you will have done differently. Let's start with the report of genocide, Christian killing, like in Yelwata, over 200 that died and all that. What's your general overview and what do you think should be done?
I will protect my people. I will discharge my commander-in-chief functions. And I will value life. And that is the difference in how we start. The highest office in the land is the president. And that is to say to you that those who drafted our constitution know that the highest person in the land should be in charge of security. So they also make the president the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, so that he has no excuses. He cannot say, oh, I'm confused as to who to talk to, or they will not listen to me. So the president, while in office, is a soldier, because commander-in-chief is a military position, it's not a civilian office. So, third issue is that valuing human life is a constitutional requirement. And a president who is commander-in-chief should be able to account for every living thing in Nigeria, not only human beings, every living thing. If somebody killed your dog, the way they are killing people now, if there's a country where they kill dogs like that, the whole world, the canine society of the world, the humane society will come and say something about that country. So the way they are killing human beings in Nigeria leaves no room for any debate. We have a terrible commander-in-chief because the Nigerian armed forces, given their history, given their strength, given their training, given their deployment, they at least have absolute capacity to be in control of every square inch of Nigeria. And where they are interested to protect, the Nigerian forces have a history of standing there and dying on that ground. You saw of recent the encounter between the Navy Lieutenant Yerima and the FCT minister. Because both the Navy and the minister are land grabbers. They love land. The two of them met and they were ready to die there. Imagine when you have a commander-in-chief who wants to defend the country like that, that Nigerian Navy, Nigerian Army, Nigerian Air Force, Nigerian Police, Nigerian Civil Defense, Nigerian Directorate of Secret Services, Nigerian NIA, Intelligence Agency, Nigerian Director of Military Intelligence, everybody who is wearing a uniform or doing any security-related work for Nigeria, if they are defending Nigeria the way that Lieutenant Yerima was defending that land that does not belong to them, that is how safe. You see, even the minister could not enter the land. That's how my own people are to defend Nigeria and defend every life.
Wow. So now, you said the president is incompetent. What's holding him back? The Tinubu people talk about is maybe politically he has some semblance of sagacity. And he does look to a lot of people like someone that's has been aspiring rather to be president for a very, very long time. So he should at least fall under the ambit of someone who has prepared to rule. So what do you think could be hampering him from putting an action plan to all this? I mean, it's not rocket science, really. I mean, like you said, the Nigerian military is one of the best land army in the world. The trajectory, the history is there. So what's hampering the president from acting? Is it just lack of capacity?
Two problems he has. He lacks respect for that office.
Oh.
He treats the office as a trophy, something I use my connection and I came there. It's basically like a chieftain.
He
sees himself as a servant.
Like you say, grabbed it.
Yeah, so he sees himself like it's my ambition, and I work towards it, and he assumes that success is winning the election. Whereas in reality, success is not in winning the election. Success is in performance. So it's like a student who got admission to medical school and who is trained party for 7 years will not graduate. Because coming to medical school is just the beginning of a medical career. It's like someone who get admission to law school and everywhere he goes, oh, attorney, everybody's calling attorney. And he hasn't learned, he hasn't even passed Babri. So that is what Tinubu is. He has no respect for that office. He did not believe that office could be that complex. I noticed that with my good friend, late friend Yaradua, when he came in, he confessed that, oh, I never knew that this office was this demanding. And he had to sit down and do what they call the 7-point agenda. Because otherwise he knew that he would be floating all over the place.
Yes.
Tinubu has no respect for the office. 2, he lacks basic competencies. And what are the competencies that he lacks? 1, he lacks empathy. Nothing worries him. So in the way he implements even his programs that are not like military related, things like managing the economy, it's like having a guy who is a fantastic dentist. But when you go to his dental office, he uses a mechanic's plier to pull out your canine. I say, well, you see, dentistry requires pain. There's nothing you can do about it. Because this tooth is rotten. I have to get the tooth out of your mouth anyway. But the practice of dentistry is no longer as grotesque as that anymore in modern times. You know that you could put local anesthesia in the mouth.
Yeah, kill the pain.
You could allow it to settle down. You could gently inject and allow the tooth to be loose. And then you could pull it out. It could even fall off on its own. That is how to be humane, how to be professional. You cannot say, well, it's either you keep your rotten tooth in your mouth or you let me use the hammer and chisel to chisel it out. So it lacks compassion. Second, it lacks reflection. Because people around you, your policy will bounce around them and they will bounce back to you. So you need people who are frank, who will tell you your mouth is smelling, go and wash it again. Go back and change your toothbrush. Mr. President, your mouth is smelling. If you don't have such people around you, your emperor will be naked. 3, he has divided loyalty. You can't be great and rich at the same time. You can do one after the other. You can be rich first and seek greatness. You can be great and the riches come to you. So you could be a Barack Obama, an average lawyer, managing your life, lower middle class, become president, do your work, and write books and other things, and later you become rich. But you cannot simultaneously be chasing the two. So in their own case, they are both business people and they are all in government. So they have conflict of interest. So they are confused. So 4th issue is that they didn't come with a plan. They came tabula rasa. When you are confused, why do you think pilots, before they start their trip, they pay attention? They keep sketching their flight plan. Oh, okay, this is my flight plan. I'll fly over to Philadelphia, then I fly over New Jersey, then I go to TFK. But suppose there's a problem. Maybe I fly to LaGuardia. Oh, it's too close. There may be a problem. Okay, maybe, all right. I can go flying as far as Buffalo and make a turn. So you have all your plans. So no matter the situation, you have all the scenarios planned out.
That's true.
And the more scenarios you planned out, the more likely you'll be nimble when situations arise. So they don't have that. Lastly, they are too lazy because they need their time for other unrelated activities. They need to go to France, they need to go and take care of themselves. They need to go and do wambe with people, show off that president has come to my naming ceremony, president has come to my book launch, president has come to my factory launch. And there are too many people, the family and the office and the business and the enterprise, they become one. So the political party can go there into the villa and they are holding governor of APC meeting. All of them go to the place where the president is supposed to work. Then everybody is a cousin to somebody's a boyfriend and girlfriend to somebody's wife. So they're not serious people. So they've lost control of the actual government. So they've lost control of the police. So that is why probably the only policeman the president knows is Egbetokun. So he keeps extending his tenure because he doesn't have a cadre. He didn't build a police cadre where he can raise 50 possible
IG.
Inspector General of Police. So he has only that one who used to be his ADC. He doesn't know anybody there. So he farmed out the police to that one. So if that one wants to retire, he's lost. He doesn't know what to do next. So the civil services, they've lost control of them. So they don't know what they're doing. So because they're lazy, they can't engage. They can't even engage with the civil society. The only time you take photos with the president is if you want to join his party. But there are so many geniuses in the country. There are so many Nigerians in diaspora. It doesn't compare to Obasanjo's day. Obasanjo is not perfect. It compares to Obasanjo's day. If you are a good trumpeter in your village, chances are that one day people say, yes, I know this guy was going to come to the villa to play the trumpet, because they had feelers down the line as to where to gather talent. If you are a Nigerian overseas and you are interested in serving Nigeria, Obasanjo will look for you. If he's going to Davos, going somewhere, he will branch up, talk to you. So these people are insular, and that insularity arises from lack of exposure. Because the president himself hasn't really worked in public service before. He worked for an American company, Mobile, and maybe Deloitte, briefly. Worked for Mobile as just juggling number for them as a treasurer. Financial controller, then treasurer. That's all. He never worked in public service before. Never done anything. He served in the Senate as a senator for about 2 years. That's it. So, and in Lagos, he was a god there. He also is in that small enclave there. So the complexity of the country, the sensitivity of issues, the amount of time, so many things that he's discovering are things that a good presidential candidate ought to know off the cuff, are things that he's discovering. And if you think, oh, I'm just maybe harassing him for nothing, look at how many policy reversals he's had. Even something as simple as having a competent attorney general who knows the meaning of justice, who knows how to use the power of pardon, power of prerogative of mercy, the criteria to draw, how to make it transparent, how to have interaction with the victims, how to look at the social impact, the psychological impact, the moral hazard of releasing criminals that have not shown any capacity for repentance and things like that. It just went that way. If you look at the so-called 15% tariff, no calculation behind it, no nothing. Just because you know somebody and that policy will favor that one person or one group. Just announce, oh, I put 15% more on people who already have debt with inflation. You want your inflation level to come down. As a result, you are doing rebasing instead of actually dealing with critical factors that can ease pressure. You are doing rebasing, so you are ignoring many of the drivers. So those are the problems. So those are the things we will do differently. And the Nigerian, even somebody who worked in the presidency one time said, maybe there's witchcraft there. Ruben about your soul.
Yeah, Dr.
So,
Abati,
yeah, so they make this thing, they mystify it. Look, there's no. If you hire a blind driver who doesn't know how to drive, who's also blind and deaf, if you have an accident, don't say there's a witchcraft there, because you need your sight to see the road.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's basically the problem. And I don't know, I'm not his doctor, but the way I see it, I don't know if the president can put up the regular hours required. Just sit on a chair and stay awake. It's not what I'm talking about. Putting rigorous hours, going around the country, interacting with the people, taking control of situation, saying things which you ought to see by yourself, taking your security briefings seriously, and being able to do proper diplomatic work around the world, to have sensitivity to things that may happen in a year's time, things that are likely to happen in 9 months' time. So to start to nip them in the bud and all of that, I think they are absent in most of these things.
Well, okay, let me put it to you this way. Some of my past guests, a gentleman called Professor Otomi, I'm sure you know him, Pat Otomi, he said...
I know Professor Party too very well.
Yeah, he's been here about 3-4 times regular. He said that Nigeria's problem is failure of leadership. Now, there are other guests like Amage Kentebe, this woman in Port Harcourt, I've forgotten her name. Oh, God. Ankyo Briggs. Most of the people that were from the Patriots, I interviewed like 5 of them after their conference. They feel that a lot of the problems are constitutionally inclined, that we have to devolve power, have a new constitution, that failure of leadership, failure of police and everything is still embedded in that people not having a constitution. Like that the constitution we operate today starts with the people of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We don't know when the people wrote the constitution. But now the question is, if we have a capable leader today, which is difficult because in the past, our elections were free, but they were not fair. Now they are not free, they are not fair. So you never probably will get the requisite leadership. But my question is it just failure of leadership, or we need to amend the constitution, or both? Or what do you think?
Well, it's not an either or problem. It's an all of the above problem.
All of the above, okay.
But failure of leadership is one thing you look at. It reminds me of that thing that when I was studying medical law, and it's a branch of law taught. And cause of death is always an issue. And people will say he died of cardiac arrest. Cardiac arrest happens to everybody who dies, because at a stage your heart is going to stop. So it doesn't address causation that somebody died of cardiac arrest. If you keep plummeting somebody's head with a hammer and they keep having concussion and bleeding, at a time they will have a cardiac arrest. The heart will stop. So that's why you talk about leadership. Leadership is the problem. Yes, of course, leadership is the problem. Leadership is the problem of every country. Leadership is the reason why Iran and Iraq went to war. Leadership failure. Leadership failure is the reason why Kuwait couldn't manage its relationship with Iraq. Leadership failure is the reason why Russia and Ukraine are fighting. So leadership failure is everywhere. Leadership failure is why America could not defeat Afghanistan or the Taliban, whoever they say were looking for there. Leadership failure is why America failed in Vietnam. So if you say generally, what happened to this person? He's sick. You are being tautologous about it. The key issue we need to understand in Nigeria is that we have failed to take advantage of the power of selection. When Achebe said in 1992, leadership was the problem of Nigeria, he was saying it in the context of working towards the 1983 election. And he saw how badly Shagari's government performed. And he looked at the totality of our experiences and said, leadership is the problem. But leadership is the problem. If you agree, then leadership is no longer the problem once you agree. Because you will now say, okay, I agree that leadership is the problem. So how do we get the leadership? And to my mind, the Nigerian elite are unworthy, are proven unworthy of the mandate of the generation.
That's deep.
Yes, they're worthy of the generation. It's like you inherit a beautiful palace. You cannot maintain it. It's just there rotting away in front of you because you just don't deserve it. And another generation will come and they will revamp it. The current leadership, the current generation have a capacity or have a duty to put together a leadership. And individually, when each person is talking as if they have answers. But government doesn't work that way. Government works about organizing yourself together and running institutions together. So when you talk about professor this, activist that, doctor this, engineer that, prince that, when each person comes into your studio, set them into a committee or a political party. or a national group or a government, it comes to failure. So that is what we need to address. And I have solutions on how to address those issues. When you set up a leadership for yourself, according to the criteria of leadership, you will immediately succeed. If you want to set up leadership for swimming, you will do well to call Michael Phelps, not go and call Venus Williams. But when you are facing tennis, better to call Venus Williams,
no Phelps,
than say you want to call Beyonce. So, but if you want to sing halftime during the game, maybe you call Beyonce, rather than go and waste your time calling Barack Obama. So what you want to do at that time, at the particular office, at the job description of that office, and the agenda of your generation will determine who is your leader.
Square pegs and square holes.
Exactly. First, you have to be able to recognize that there's a hole there, and then know the shape of the hole. But if you have no capacity for geometry, you will see a square hole, you don't know what is the hole called. So, I like this funny, this one has a funny shape. You don't know what the shape is. So that is where we are flailing. And that is where we have a solution. So I wake up every morning with better clarity about how to solve Nigeria's problem. I'm not worried about any of these issues because the combination lock is in my hands. And I know that other people have the combination locked, but decided to throw it away for one reason or the other, but it's right there. So the prosperity that we're looking for, the greatness that the country of Nigeria is looking for, is in the room. Everyone was given his own key. Most people have thrown their own away. So one person who has his own key is still intact. Only needs to come and open the door. I will go to that prosperity. So that's why I see. So I don't see that you're going to amend the constitution to turn governors to premiers or what. We have changed many things. We've changed governor general to president, change prime minister to president, change MP, change D, change House of Chiefs. We've changed regions to state. We've done all kinds of things.
Now 36 states.
We've changed from parliamentary to presidential. We've done local government 3-tier system. We've done everything. It's like changing. It's like having a drunken driver who's also nearsighted and who is also photophobic, driving, but you keep changing from Mercedes to Toyota, from Toyota to Tesla. The driver is not competent. You can change the vehicle. So so you have to have a competent driver. And that's how you're going to do it. So you can, of course, if you have a good driver and you change from Toyota Corolla to Ferrari is likely to assist the driver to drive faster. But he has to be a good driver to start with. So if you have people who want to fix their country and perform, they must be capable of performing based on a written constitution. The most noble constitution, the noblest constitution you can have is an unwritten one. Anybody who can operate an unwritten constitution is highly advanced. That's why the British are an advanced civilization. That is why my ancestors, right from Ife to Oyo to Benin to Ondo, we operated for hundreds of years successfully with an unwritten constitution because we are civilized. We know the rules. You know, if you're not a member of the royal family, when there's a vacancy there, you don't go and contest. It's not written in any constitution. You know that if you are a war leader, you are a Balogun, and you are sent to war, and you don't win, you don't come back. You die with the war,
or you commit suicide.
or you commit suicide. So it's there. And there's dignity in that. If you are election over the king's horseman and your king dies, you fall on your sword with him. You go. So if we know all the rules, they were not written anywhere. And they were kept precisely for hundreds of years. So we are a civilized people. Why are we behaving like we're just some brutes discovered by the British? And suddenly now we need to be guided by constitutional lawyers. No, I know that there was no written law against theft. But anybody who came to Yoruba land, Hausa land, many of the lands that constitute Nigeria today in the past, will say that people abhor stealing. You put your yam on the road, you put a mark on it. It shows that this is how much you want to sell it. Anybody who doesn't have money to pay, who wants a tuber of yam, will wait there until you come back and say, I don't have money now, I want to buy from you. He will not steal it and run away. If he took one from you, he will put a mark there to indicate that he took it, and he will come and pay you later. And so many things like that. So long and short of this is that do not let overeducated or over-certificated, poorly educated elite to start to punt around with what is the reason why we're not successful. We are not successful because for some reasons that are more historical than contemporary, we have produced an irresponsible generation, incapable of doing anything other than hedonistic. They do not aspire to any office other than the one that favors them personally. They don't know sacrifice. They haven't learned nationhood, citizenship. So you can be a bad citizen and become a lawmaker the next day. There's no way of testing your character, your productivity, your connectivity, your civility. Nothing.
Your past will never haunt you.
Yes. So this is the reason why we have a confused elite who had independence handed over to them. They didn't fight for the independence. Those who fought for our independence are mostly gone. And this is a generation born into independence that did not know how it came about, and know how to betray trust, know how to betray every office given to them, know how to abuse opportunities, and just have a sense of entitlement. So this is why we have professors without books being published, without articles being written anywhere. We have doctors who don't go to any hospital. They just use doctor to the chairman of a wedding ceremony. Here in our midst is Dr. So and so. He hasn't cured anybody of late. We haven't got new medicine being formulated, not even a labukun or something new anymore being done by anybody. We can't fix our own car. We can't even carve furniture anymore. We're just a generation fighting, climbing on top of each other to be the first to access the oil well, which is being drilled for us by foreigners, maintained for us by foreigners, being drilled thousands of miles offshore. We're only claiming a monile kind of claim. And that's why you have Federal Executive Council and Federal Allocation Committee, where everybody's just doing monile, because you have a state, you are generating almost near zero IGR, and you're coming to collect money from the Federation because of lack of creativity. So let us situate our problems that we have an unruly generation that is absolutely irresponsible among the elite. And it is young people that I sympathize with, because this irresponsible generation have not produced children and grandchildren. And these children and grandchildren have also learned entitlement, that the country will just be automatically good. So they hate their country because it's not fine. It's not clean. It's not efficient. Forget that the train that runs in London is the blacking fingers of railway engineers.
That's true.
The country that is protected is the shed blood of innocents. People die for their country at 19, 20, 21. That's why their country is great.
True.
That almost everybody is contributing more than they are getting elsewhere. And that you can do that in Nigeria today.
So is it a
just make
culture?
up your mind.
Is it, sorry to interject, is it fair to say it's a culture problem? Do we have is it a culture?
It's a cultural problem, but it's a culture that we nurtured.
Over
it's
time.
not a culture it's not a culture that's happened to us. It's a culture that we nurtured. If you and I decide that we will meet at this show for 11 o'clock, and we keep to the time, that's a culture we establish, because by the time we do it 5 times, 10 times, those who work with you, those who work with me will get used to it.
That's true.
If I decide to be responsible, the first time you are online waiting for me, I don't show up. The second time I don't show up, you two will develop the same attitude and say, well, Prince doesn't usually come on time. Maybe me too. I can just go to the barber shop, barb my hair, and then anytime I come, I'll call you.
I won't even come to you again.
Exactly. I bet your staff will now. Your staff will now pick it up, and then it becomes the culture. And then your audience will say, "Oh, the show doesn't start on time." They will play music. Let me go and watch something. So it's a culture. It's something that is the repeated or repetitive set of actions that become habits. Then the habits of many people become the culture. So that is what is happening. Culture is not about dancing with masquerade.
Prince, you have spoken very well. Like I said when we started, I've listened to a lot of things you've said, and in the past, I've watched a lot of your interviews. And the next question, I have two more actually, and the next one will be, wherein lies the hope? You still, in all that you have said, you still talk with like that things could change. Things could change. Things could change. You still give that little figment of hope. Wherein lies that hope? Where is that emanating from? Do you think
things must not just change? Things must change, because we've reached the end of the rope.
Exactly. It can't be worse than it is.
We've lost our dignity, we've lost our prosperity, we've lost our peace, we are losing our sovereignty now if care is not taken. So you also lose your identity and become refugees, and nobody will even want you anyway. So we have reached the point where things must change. And what must change? The narrative must change. We must stop lying and say it is this person's fault. Outside people are drawing us back. You're right. You must first understand that there are competencies that are required for modern living. So if you see somebody who doesn't understand how to operate a computer, you know that this person is not of this modern world. It's no longer a specialty. So if you see a people who waste time is the highest and most irretrievable resource that you have. If you see a country of time wasters and jesters, you know they are not going to make it. So you stop being time wasters and jesters. You start being serious people. You start prioritizing what's important in society. You start prioritizing talent. You start making sure that people who have talent for organizing, talent for sacrifice, who can have deferred gratification, who can have gratification by proxy, who can have vicarious satisfaction. The way your mother will feel happy if all her children are well fed and sleeping, even though she's hungry. When you have that kind of attitude, then they push you in leadership. So that we have to start organizing now. That's where the hope. I, as a leader, I don't need hope because I'm the hope of the followers. What I need is a plan, and I need an attitude and competencies that will make my plan to work, and the tenacity and strength of character to keep insisting on it, that this is how it's going to work, and to start influencing my environment, to make sure I reorganize my political party properly. I am available to you to as a servant of the public. You say, oh, can we talk tomorrow? And yes, I want to talk to you because that is my ministry. That is my mission. And to see that I defeat all the problems that were in existence when I was born. I was born January 8, 1972. Every time close to my birthday, I pick up all the newspapers of the day I was born. I must solve all the problems. Go and pick the newspaper of the day you were born. You will see that the problems are still around. Police shot somebody. No water. ASU on strike. NUT on strike. Money missing. Injustice. Dead body found on the street.
It's a vicious circle, actually.
Yeah, but it ends with me. It ends with me. I'm going to kill all these problems, they will not be there. Maybe new ones will come later. They will say, Nigerian rocket in the sky, to bend this way, or Nigeria start to create a new air force, some new problem. This generation that's coming after me will not meet the problems on the ground.
If
Electricity,
you are president.
Poverty, injustice, insecurity, poor judiciary. I want President Tinubu yesterday went to address judges and said justice must not be for sale. That conversation itself shows to you that he, as commander-in-chief, knows that there's a moral collapse. Because there's no country in the world where a politician tells judges, do not sell justice. So really, it's that itself is going to call an inquiry. All of them will say, tell us, who did you see who has sold justice here before? So that we can get rid of that person. So this is what I want us to do. I cannot do it alone. I need to communicate with my generation to say, look, guys, don't let us be like our parents, who thought that if you stole 10 transformers in NEPA and go and buy a Mercedes and send your children abroad, you have achieved something. Then there's blackout. Then you say, oh, how come electricity doesn't work? Since Faraday discovered electricity, it works across the globe. The same way you turn on your radio, the radio wave goes around the world. So things will work if we organize ourselves and if we have the right priorities and if we live for the country, we live for society. It's not about sacrifice. To live for your country is not sacrifice. It's just the reality, because certain things are only solvable in the collective. So you need to now understand that certain public services like healthcare, like security, like housing, like infrastructure, like roads and all of that cannot be individually acquired. So even if you steal all the money in the central bank, you can't build your own roads. You can't create your own army. You can't, when there's COVID or similar pandemic, you can't treat yourself only. So it's to say, oh, my father worked in the civil service, he didn't steal. It should be the norm. A young man with talent spend the rest of his life in career in politics. It's the norm. So we need to normalize normalcy in Nigeria, and that's what we want to do. I am determined, and I can tell you, I can assure you that you and I, when we are getting to 70, nobody is going to talk to us about this kind of problems you see in Nigeria today. We will be the generation that are kicking. Same way, same way about Macaulay, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Bafemi Awolowo, Ahmadu Bello, all these people, no matter their differences, they said, no, we won't be under the white man. The white man must leave. And we grew up not seeing them. But if you travel to other countries where dark skin or black people are under white people, you know what it means. But they achieved that for us. So the same way you and I can make up our mind now, create a new nationalism and say, no, we must solve this problem. We must retire this.
So you think something? Yeah, sorry to interject. So you think something will give anyway? I mean, we have reached. We
are going to push away the problems. I'm not saying that the problem will so pile up that they will collapse under the weight, under their own weight. There's no gravitational pull to push away problem. We have to solve the problem. No matter how long a pothole has been on the ground, it's not going to fill itself. You have to have someone who's a competent engineer who say, this pothole has been here for 20 years, but it's something I can fill in 20 hours. And if I do it well in these 20 hours, the next 20 years, it won't come back there.
But you have to solve the problem. Yeah, you have to be in position of authority, for example.
You will not be in a position of authority in a democracy except you have an agenda. And you set the agenda to the majority of your people. And because there is not an exam. If there was an exam to be coordinated by WAEC or some international exam body, I can say, okay, all of us want to be president. Come on, write the exam. I will pass. That's how I passed New York bar, Nigerian bar, California bar, and all of that. But democracy is not like that. Democracy is about, you must have that vision. And because people are entitled to ruin their own lives, there's sovereignty in every human being.
Absolutely.
You can see a noble person, a professional, and go and vote for a drug dealer. It's your choice. It's like marriage. You can see a well-behaved professional dentist and say, no, I'm going to marry a hire killer. It's your choice. But the essence of leadership in democracy is to let you know that You can commit suicide personally, but your choices are affecting others. So let us understand how to communicate. We shouldn't feel superior. If you are in a democracy and your ideas are so grand and beautiful, and you feel superior to the common person, the common person has more power than you when they band together. So you need to kind of communicate and interact. And that my mission is not just to say, oh, put me as president and you see wonders. It is to go and make the case to every family, every group, every community, every identity, to explain to our people singularly and collectively that, please, let us solve this problem. They can be solved. Don't be discouraged about them. And don't feel like the problem, the solution is in the other person's hand. No, I don't feel like, oh, I'm not part of the problem because I've not been in office before. No, there are certain things you are doing, which if you do better, will impact on the country even before you get to the office at all. So those are the things that I want to do. And I want us to understand that we will do it. We have no option. We will do it. We have to do it. Now, I came back to Nigeria from international practice all over to say, no, let me use the rest of my life to solve these problems so that they will disappear. And people will say, oh, really? If you call your daughter, who is 21 years old now, and say, well, there was a time when no black person could go to a mainland hotel to have a drink. What? You say it's not possible. In Nigeria, you know? So they say, no.
It was like that.
It happened.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now that what? Really? Yes. I live in a part of Ondo called GRA. If you climb there, if you're not a prince like me, if you come there, the white district officer who has the soldiers to flog you for coming to the GRA. But if you tell young people there now that this place you are prancing around, the white people will not let you come there. They will flog you. Say, what? It's not possible. That's how I want 10 years from now, 15 years from now, to be talking about blackouts, corruption, potholes, all these problems. They say, in Nigeria, I don't think so. Can't happen. Same way, now, anybody born from the year 2000 till now, they are 26 years old or 25 years old. They have 1/4 of a century. They've never seen a military administrator before.
True.
They've never seen a military governor before.
Yeah, true. From 1990 till then, true.
We fought it. We fought it. We fought it. People like Shogore, so many other people. Yeah. We fought the battle. We were young people. Père Corazon Kuti, Nahoro, Faseun, Ganifa Emi, Femi Falana, Bagbakoba. We fought. Yeah. It really looked like, you want to commit suicide. I remember first somebody coming to my house as a local Jew telling me, a young man like you, they will kill you. What is your business? Go and face your study. I said, to study what? To study, I'm studying to become a lawyer. And a decree can overrule the Supreme Court. What kind of nonsense are you telling me about to go and study? So we fought that. So I'm just giving us success story to tell you that Nigeria was regarded as one country where the military will never go. If you read CIA report, World Bank report, they thought that we were doomed to dictatorship, but we're out of it. So the same way, I'm sitting down on my 60th birthday, 65th birthday, and I'm telling you, I told you, all this problem will go away. I did not come.
I'll remind you when the 70, yes. 70, we're at the same bracket. So I'll remind you. All right, thank you.
That's the approach. That's the approach, and that's the what we call hope. It's not a slogan. No,
it's a reality of the day. Absolutely,
it's what to follow. So it's not what you use to deceive people. I say renew hope. Hope is not. Hope doesn't expire. Doesn't to be renewed. So, and those who came with renew hope, they don't even have the money. People don't have the money to even renew to pay the renewal fee of the hope now. So let us work on plan. It's what you do on a daily basis. You and I could not have hope yesterday that we'll do this show. It's not about hoping.
Absolutely.
It's about fixing the time, putting the effort,
planning,
and getting it done. And that's how we're going to solve all the problems.
Wow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really enjoy your conversation. It's usually a discussion, and the only thing I'm just going to add to all that you said, because we're about to round up now, is that yes, it's true that the government has shown some level of rudderlessness. The example I always give was managing the ECOWAS situation with Niger. I felt that was for Nigeria a major leviathan in ECOWAS. To now, under our leadership, ECOWAS breaking into two, I felt was a major fiasco. I thought that could have been properly managed, And of course, there are other tons and tons of things that have happened, but that for me was the most disappointing. However, it's a wrap there. We're going to have to, I'm sure you are going to be back in no too distant future because all of your viewers will request for you again. I mean, you clearly show that if you're president, this is how you do it. And it's not just about hoping, we have to be intentional. I think that's the word there. You have to be intentional. The culture has to change, and you just have to reappraise. And people have to stand up. It's not just by saying it. You have to put an action to it, which is another thing we lack. People just criticize also, but they know. But the prayer is that in no too distant future, the future leaders, hopefully you'll be one of them, will do things differently. So thank you very much, sir, for coming, and we hope to see you next time. To our viewers, it's a wrap. You can hear it was a presidential aspirant under SDP, and I'm sure he's going to run again. And from the way he's talking, you can say, I didn't even need to ask him. He's patriotic about it. He has a lot to prove, and the future is bright with people like Prince Adebayo. So it's a wrap. Thank you, everybody. Prince, thank you once again for coming.
Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
God bless you too.